So we're here today with Kirsty Robinson. Hi. Kirsty's from Cut the Mustard, HR consultancy, and she's just done a masterclass for the Yorkshire Leadership Group. So can you just recap on what the main themes of the masterclass were?
Yes, sure. What we covered first of all was really getting business owners to realise how complex the environment is out there at the moment and how competitive it is, and get them to think really clearly about what they need from their people at times like this. So we looked at that first of all and understood that we need our people to be able to adapt to change, be more creative and more productive in the workplace. And we need to be able to motivate them really well. So from that we looked at, okay, so within our business areas, what are we doing to actually help people do this? And what are the things standing in their way? And we spent part of the session encouraging people to look at the culture. What are the barriers within the culture that are preventing people from doing this? Particularly if there's more of a kind of parent-child culture within the organisation. We then looked at how we can actually get to better know what our staff want, what their needs are, rather than applying off-the-shelf solutions to help our staff. And then finally, we looked at how we can become more people experts in the organisation, because one of the things that we don't do particularly well, particularly in HR, is apply some of the real latest thinking around how we can motivate our people. We then looked at all of that and related it to kind of standard HR practices we have across organisations, and thinking about, okay, if we knew all this knowledge, all this theory, all this latest thinking about behavioural science and neuroscience, what difference would it make to the way that we approach these people practices? And that's in essence what we've done today.
So for our business owners, obviously they're from different sectors, different sizes, different types of organisations. What did you feel they most engaged with from what you were saying?
I think the main thing that I kind of felt they most engaged with was the fact that they realised they've been doing standard HR practices the same way for far too long. Yeah, and it's really about challenging that and thinking, what value am I actually getting from this? Because we've been doing these things for far too long, and a lot of the latest thinking around the brain and how we motivate people has come out in the last 10 years. And these things have been going on way further back than 10 years. So I think what they're really engaged with is really thinking about, actually, what am I trying to achieve here? And if I am going to do it differently, what are the things that other organisations are doing that I can learn from to help me with my own business?
Absolutely. So they can scale it to the resources they've got, but more it's about a mindset of what they put into the business.
Absolutely.
So what would you like them, in an ideal situation, to go back to the office and do now after the presentation?
I'd really like them to go back and think about, okay, so if I'm trying to get people to be more motivated, adapt to change, learn quickly, be more productive in the workplace, how can I use the knowledge I got from the session and apply it to all the HR practices I have within my business? And what does that actually mean for that? So I'd encourage business owners to think about the culture that they've got within their organisations. Is this really helping people to be more creative? Sometimes the answer is no. If we get people to really spend some time understanding what their staff wants are, their needs are, actually spending time with them rather than trying to guess.
Yeah, stop making assumptions.
Stop making assumptions, actually talking to them to find out what they really need and want. And I'd like them to also think about the theories that we talked about today and feed that into their conversations with staff. So one of the things that came up that was really important for people was this whole concept around how we should be having performance conversations with employees. And I would encourage business owners to think about the 3 motivational aspects we talked about today and how they can bring those into those conversations.
Yeah, and I think key for me was the pushing back almost, not expecting the directors and managers to fix everything, but asking the employees themselves what they want and need.
Absolutely, absolutely. This isn't the responsibility of line managers to do everything and to have all the solutions. You know, if people are asking for more autonomy in the workplace, we need to be speaking to staff and actually helping them to come up with ideas and solutions, which will also encourage creativity. Long gone are the days of command and control and the boss knowing all the answers.
Yeah, so empowering them to make those decisions.
Absolutely.
And do you feel that this group is fairly typical of your client base? So what are they coming to you? What are the key issues that they're coming to you with your clients?
It's very typical of my client base. Our clients are all different shapes and sizes. And in terms of the kind of issues they come to me with, we get the standard bread and butter HR. That's always there, you know, employee relations, queries, etc. But more and more, they're coming to us to say, we know what we've got isn't working the best way it could, but we don't know how to change. And that's where HR consultancy can really have an impact, because we are always seeing what clients are doing well and not so well and learning from that. And we're always scouring the market and understanding what the latest trends in HR. And we can bring that to business owners, and we can help them to challenge themselves and start thinking differently about the HR approaches that they want to have within their own businesses.
So when you mention the HR sort of sector, this year, 2019, what are the kind of trends? What are trends? What are people going to be talking about?
There's a number of things. There are a few that particularly spring to mind. I think health and well-being is massively on the agenda. And in terms of what businesses need to be thinking about, they need to be thinking about instilling initiatives that really add value to their people. Too often businesses look to off-the-shelf solutions, and maybe there's a bit of tokenism in there as well, and it's not aligned to what employees want. And it's quite interesting, a recent Deloitte survey identified a massive mismatch, a massive gap between what employees actually are looking for and what they would really value and what employers are offering. So that's the first one that's big on the agenda. The second one is reward. There's been a massive transformation in many areas of HR, but reward in particular has been overlooked. Yeah. You know, it's great news that we've moved to continuous performance management. That's fantastic, but we're still rewarding people once a year. So that's really high on the agenda as well.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much.
Thank
I really
you.
enjoyed that.